This is a thread that I currently have on Godlike Productions, which is a conspiracy theory forum. This is on page 3, as this is my thread I started, and I keep bumping it. It's got about 3,500 hits now. I'll read it out to you. This is an edited copy of transcript from my website. Check the website for full copy. I own the copyright to all this. I am not psychic, but read. For those of you who are too long don't read, you're not worthy. Begins here. One day I rang Newstalk ZB, a nationwide New Zealand talkback radio, and was talking live on air with Kerry Woodham during prime time shortly after 9 PM. During the phone call I said, "They don't think," 3 times in a row, with the host interjecting each time. See, the thing is, you really have to hear the phone call yourself. It's not good enough to type about it. Anyway, after saying "they don't think" for the 3rd time, the host thought I was talking about her and became upset. At this I yelled "war" at full volume live on air. After yelling "war," I said "the thing" ×3 or ×2, and then proceeded to call whoever was listening to stand up and be ready for war. I laid my life on the line. The end of the phone call, I voiced a gleam in my eye. I voiced that suffering and war were going to happen. Then totally, 2 days later, the planes hit the buildings in America. There's much to the phone call. It went for about 30 to 40 seconds or more, all about war. You really have to hear it to get the best impression I made an aggressive attacking and defending stance. So 2 days later, the planes hit the World Trade Center and Pentagon. The phone call was me preparing people for war and warning of war in the only way I could. You have to hear it. Maybe you think this phone call is not important. You have to hear it. Don't judge before you have heard the phone call. You have to hear it. Now, even if this original phone call wasn't important, what happened next makes it the beginning. The phone call where I yell war, predicting a war 2 days before September 11, 2001, is the Mona Lisa of phone calls. It's art. It's solid state of the art. It's real, and copies exist. You don't delete and destroy the Mona Lisa. The phone call I made, the initial one before the attacks, is important. People will be interested in this phone call. It deserves its place on YouTube. I predict that this phone call alone will garner millions of hits from YouTube. It's being censored from the public and my freedom of speech is being taken away. I'm not allowed a copy. For one, my phone call is important enough to never be deleted. It pertains to a war, a terrorist attack that was broadcast live around the world. All this only 2 days after the phone call's inception. Now maybe you wouldn't be interested if the story ended there. You may be thinking that even with millions of hits on YouTube that my phone call wouldn't generate much money. The money's not worth it for you. The story so far is shaky and crumbly. No one ever believes me. I want to bankrupt myself to prove my story. I must do what it takes, but I'm perhaps not brave enough to go this far. I am very poor though, in mind as well. It was from my humility that caused me to predict such things. I had and was and did for 10 years severely suffer. Anyhow, the story continues. Well, after the planes hit the buildings in America... after the planes hit the buildings in America, I rang back Newstalk ZB. If the planes had never hit, I would never have rung back. In the phone calls that I made after the attacks, I asked for a reward. That's what I called it anyway, a reward. The reward was that famous musicians, rock stars, make songs out of things I said over Newstalk ZB and further phone calls. I asked for Eminem by name. And here it is. Now songs by Red Hot Chili Peppers, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, Eminem, Tattoo, Finger 11, Sugar Babes, Outkast, Brooke Fraser, Finbo, Green Day, Hoobastank, Grits, Foo Fighters, Avril Lavigne, Stone Sour, Day of Fire and more. All have cameo lyrics spoken by me over Newstalk Radio ZB air. The phone calls still exist, as again they are this important. They are the base of songs by these groups, mostly the chorus. As in, the words from my phone calls are written, cameoed in all of these artists' songs. Someone spent lots of money on me. See, the thing is, I would rather leave the music out of it, not release those for a while, only after reviewing them and creating decent videos, but I'm afraid lawyers might not be interested in my original phone call without first hearing it. I'm broke, remember, so I have introduced the music aspect, and at fear of not being believed. So there is the phone call where I yelled war and made the whole phone call about war. Then the planes hit the building. So I asked, and somebody spent millions on converting things I said in phone calls I made to Newstalk ZB into now famous songs by famous rock stars. I am speaking the truth. I am not delusional. No one believes me. I need a lawyer to prove the truth. Now, this I have to push and pay cash. For this I have to push and pay cash. For this I say I will be a millionaire, but at the moment I'm broke. I am a celebrity, even if only by spoken word cameo to some of the biggest songs in the world. The truth will set you free. The phone calls are truth. Please, if you have further questions, please ask. I hope I made sense. Also, please, if you're not interested, could you pass this along to someone you think might be able to help, or help me out by putting me in contact with the right people? I need people who are willing to go the distance and get these phone calls. And get these phone calls. Copies of these phone calls still exist. They are simply too important to delete. They are my property. People need to hear the phone calls. The songs are secondary. My first original phone call where I yelled war is by far way more important. People have a right to hear it. It should not be left unheard. I have rights that should let me post something of intrinsic value on the internet. So that was that post. Yeah, so basic summary, I made a phone call, I yelled war, made a whole phone call, 30-40 second phone call about war. Then 2 days later the planes hit the buildings in America. I rang back after the planes had hit, and I asked that famous artists, famous musicians make songs out of further phone calls that I made to Newstalk ZB. They did. Somebody spent a whole lot of money on me making these phone calls. I'll leave a link to the thread down below, in the comments down below. And you'll be able to check this thread out. It's on Godlight Productions. It's got 3518 views, and it's on page 5. It's got about 120 posts, 3,500 views, and still nobody's paid attention to it. This is going to go crazy when people find out the truth. I'll go to page 1. I'll read you the first page. This is the opening. This is the original post. What happens? The thread is called "If the Truth Will Set You Free." What happens when nobody will believe the truth? Not one. What happens if nobody will believe the truth? My truth is that I cameo in about 30 songs ranging from Linkin Park to Eminem to Limp Bizkit to Alanis Morissette, and many more popular everyday songs released from about 2001 to 2009. Nobody knows this and is set and primed to explode. Without me, Toy Soldiers, Just Lose It, Lose Yourself. These songs are some examples of the lyrics that I helped write and create. The sooner people believe me, the sooner I get my billions of dollars, and the sooner you get the Matrix and other secrets of the government. Now the point is, no one believes. This is truth, yet no one will believe it to be set free. Not one person on planet Earth will believe my testimony. I haven't found anyone yet worthy who has proven they believe. I am to be a major celebrity, a force to be reckoned with, even in death, for a long time. So again, the point is that truth is going to come along bigger than this and more important than this, and nobody is going to believe. So everyone will just be left a slave. I'll read that again. So again, the point of this, like this post of people not believing me, is that some bigger truth is going to come along that's more important than what I'm saying, and no one's going to believe it. If you can't believe this, then it's impossible to believe anything greater. You can learn more at my website featured below, namely how I got to feature in the songs, etc. You don't believe this truth? How will any truth ever set you free? But I guess if the world fails to believe, then you must be innocent. But we will all fail to know anything greater than what I have said. What happens if nobody will believe the truth? Leader, Darcy Lee. I'm Darcy. And you can find my website at www.darcylee.com. And that's... that's the whole thread. That's the original post. So this video's gone on for 10 minutes. I'll leave it there. I just wanted to record this thread that's had 3,500 views, and post it up on YouTube so that people can perhaps go to it from YouTube. Thank you.